I guess officially call the meeting to order then, 10:01 a.m. on June 9th, meeting of the Finance Committee of the Central Midlands Regional Transit Authority. I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then a motion to consider the minutes from the May meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so item number 4, matters referred from the Board of Directors. I see that there are none. Is there any comment from staff on that item?
There's none.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Very good. So then we'll move straight into reports from Roz, monthly financial update.
Good morning, everybody. My report begins on page 8, where we go over the financial highlights for the month. The preceding documents after it goes into detail of what's summarized here. As you see, when reporting on the month of April, we're 83% done with the fiscal year. Our net income for the month, we did, finally come out of the red. We're still at 2.2 million, and that has to do with the billing to Richland County. Our year-to-date comes up to 1.82 million. Total revenue period to date is 4.4 million. Year-to-date brings us to 25.61 million. Our total expenses with depreciation included is 2.5 million. Year-to-date, 26.39 million. Year-to-date paid to our contract operator, RATP Dev, is 9.3 million. Below that, we break out payments we've made to certain vendors in certain categories, which are contract services, marketing, and security. Those amounts are there. And below that, I break out our total penny collections, what's billed and what we have received. And thanks to Dr. Morris, I changed August to say 2020, November to say 2020, and February 21. And there I show you where I billed Richland County a little over $5 million. Any questions?
All right, questions for Roz.
I have some questions. Look on page 11. We've been talking about shelters for years, and we've been doing a great job with installing them. How are we coming with shelters now?
The installation of shelters?
Yes.
That would be a question for Leroy.
Dr. Morris, as far as the schedule that we get from, I think it's Davidson, Florida, each month they give us an update. So we're still on schedule as far as what's on the schedule to be installed, but also any locations that they identify that they get agreements to place them. So I can't give you direct numbers or anything like that, but they constantly are staying on schedule as far as installations or identifying new locations. And they will give an update in the service meeting later today. But they've been active. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I noticed that. At one point, a couple of years ago, we were talking about 31 shelters need to be installed. And then we met that goal, and then it went away. But I just thought that we should be kept abreast on how many shelters being installed.
Okay.
What is the OPT rule on that same page, right under shelter? What is that?
Michelle, would you like to respond? That's NCDOT OPT Rule 5339 funds.
It's rural funds for the Office of Public Transit, that's SCDOT money. 5311 rural, that's for the rural area. We use about 11% of our overall service takes place in the rural areas of either county or both counties. And that's what those funds are charged to.
Hey, Michelle, can you repeat that, please? We can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. 5311 fund is for the rural areas of Lexington and Richland counties. About 11% of our overall service takes place in rural areas that are designated rural for the UPO, and we are able to charge those funds to the services we provide in the rural areas.
Michelle, are we running a deficit there of 176,000?
I'm not looking at what you're looking at. I'm just having a hard time. Let's see. We're not running a deficit. We spend all the money that we get from OTT, from SCDOT for the rural funds. We just haven't drawn down all of them yet. We have to get accurate data from our operator, from RATP Dev, before I can charge those funds. And so we're waiting on some of that in order to have data available.
Okay, I see in parentheses there, and I thought that meant we're running a deficit.
Yeah, Dr. Mars, what you're looking at, if you look at the second column where it says year to date, and this is revenue, it's actually money we've gotten in. The reason you see a deficit is because we didn't budget anything for that. That wasn't a there isn't a number put in for a budget amount. That's why you see it.
And the same thing for, if you move down a couple, the same thing for the insurance claim revenue and the concession.
Right, so for insurance claims, we didn't budget for it, but we did end up getting money for it. So we had some damaged shelter, and that's where that money went to.
Okay, go down to the bottom of the page and you see employee relocation. What is that?
Employee relocation.
Yes.
So that's whenever, that was money we paid out to John when he relocated here. You guys are okay going back to give him the money since he relocated? When it was part of his contract, was the relocation fee?
Oh, okay, that was a part of his contract.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at page. Go ahead.
I would say, and it's a deficit because you say he started in 2018, but he didn't claim his money until the month of April. So we didn't budget anything for him.
Okay. What? How about page 17? You see page 17?
Yes, sir.
What's ADS security contracts?
AOS, specialty contractors?
Yes.
They're the ones who install our shelters.
Oh, okay. All right. I noticed that these are federal funds, the 891,000. Are those federal funds? Total pay?
Hold on, let me see which one you're talking about. It would be, yes, well, we do get federal funds for shelter install. The 800,
okay.
The amount you see there would be, what we paid to them, not necessarily what portion of it was grant eligible.
Generally,
okay, now,
80-20 split, right?
Say it again, Andy.
Sorry, I was just saying it's generally an 80-20 split, right, for shelters?
Yes, yes.
So you can sort of assume
Okay.
80% of that 800,000 is eligible for grant
Grant eligible, yes.
funding. Yeah.
Look at Brownstone. Why is the amount we paying them going up so much?
Because they are continually like what I would call the middleman for any new projects we have going on. They do the engineering design for anything, any new projects we have in the works.
Mr. Dussault, could you check on that and share that with us? Why we continue to pay Brownstone more and more money every year? You can get back to us on that later.
Dr. Morris, I know one thing that's going on now is they're working with the super stop. They're over, when that project gets totally going, they will be overseeing that project. You know, they did things last year like oversee when we redid the whole parking lot area, the asphalt here. We just completed that project also.
All right, okay. And I noticed we paid them a little, we paid them over 300,000. Next year we are projecting 575,000. So this is this most of this, a part of this is due to the work there at the super stop.
Well, they will be over that project when it gets going.
And also they're involved with any time we put a shelter up. They're the ones that are getting all the permitting and everything through SCDOT for right of way and things of that nature. They helped this year with resurfacing our parking lot. They did all the bid documents and everything for that and oversaw that project. And also our HVAC project this year. They were involved with that heavily.
Okay, now I noticed we are paying Uber and Lyft. We are asking for $75,000 for them. That's quite a bit. Why is that?
What page are you on now?
Dr. Morris,
Well,
I think that's
yeah.
that is the first mile, last mile thing that we approved, that we went up to $7 in versus, was it $5?
We went to
sorry.
$8.
Oh, $8? Oh, $8 versus that.
I understand that. Thank you for that. But I'm concerned about the $75,000. Are you saying
What's going on? How you doing?
because because it went up, the budget needs to go up to $75,000?
I think I understand, but it didn't, what you're looking at, I think is the last column. That's just showing you what we have budgeted for this year.
Yes.
And it went up to compensate from where you guys initially had 5, and now you're saying we can do up to 8.
All right. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Just to follow up on Dr. Morris's question there, the 75 really is, I mean, it's your current year budget. It was your projection when we adopted the budget for what we would need at the $8 per ride, correct? I mean, you had data to support the total budget number based on how much people were using Uber and Lyft.
Yes, and that
For those
again,
last mile kinds of situations.
yeah, and if you look at the note there, it says not to exceed 87.5, but we budgeted 75,000.
And do keep
All right. Thank you.
providing this service so we don't have empty buses running out there, providing a whole bus route for maybe 1 or 2 people. We're paying for those people to take Uber and Lyft instead of having a route during those hours.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I understand that piece, but I was just wondering why it's so much.
Right, right.
If that is what it is, then fine.
It would be helpful.
Thank you.
It would be helpful and not as a urgent matter at all, at least from my perspective. It'd be interesting to see if there was some way to quantify what we save by using Uber and Lyft in those areas. That might be a bigger project than it's worth to us. But my general sense would be that, as Michelle just noted, we probably end up big picture saving money by not having, by creating efficiencies on our routes and using Uber and Lyft to get those sort of one-offs.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't prioritize that, but maybe in time it would be really helpful for the Finance Committee to kind of take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions on the financial report through April? All right. Hearing none, move on to our next agenda item, which is a DBE update from Dr. Prince.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
On page 27 of your report is a Dbe Utilization Report. I'm in the process of sending you an updated report. I noticed early this morning a typo. I want to make sure you got the correct figures, but it doesn't impact the overall percentage for the total amount paid to DBEs. On the right side of the report, we have several vendors. There are 23, and there are still about 4 or 5 that have 0% in terms of the goal achieved. I am continuing to coordinate with these vendors. When it comes to, let me see, on the report, let me see, there's a blank space, so sure enough, Newman, and that number should be $53,843. Also, when it comes to IT One Solutions, they have informed me that they have paid a DBE, and I should have the data, the information later this month. And also Walker White, who's at the bottom of the chart, item number 23, is currently showing the percentage of goal achieved 4%. They submitted a data to me after I printed this report, so they are now at 12%, and that will be reflected in the next report. Overall, the total amount that the company has paid the vendors, the 23 vendors that are reflected on the form, is around $15.8 million, and of that amount, $5.2 million have been paid out to DBEs, which represents about 33% of the total amount paid. And on the left side of the form, and as I stated earlier, this really is for up through May, the end of May. On your sheet of what you have in your packet, I think it shows 1.5 million. It should be 15.782 million. And this is one of the corrections that I'm making. And I just realized this morning that the 7 was missing from this number after the 5 and probably in front of the 8. So it should be 15.782 versus 1.582. But as I stated earlier, the goal achieved to date up through May 31st was 33%, and we have a total of 23 vendors. This ends the report unless there are any questions.
All right, thank you, Dr. Prince. And thank you for noting those errors. I think I follow where understand the corrections. Any questions?
I just typed in a number, missed one of my numbers as I was typing.
Right. Well, we can see the 15.782 at the bottom.
Okay.
So that's helpful. Any questions for Dr. Prince?
Dr. Prince, when the DBEs pay up, the ones that are at 0%, we will go beyond the 33%.
Well, it it will probably, could not change because at the same time as we are paying more money, that causes the number to change. So say, for example, like on number 5, we have Apollo Video. Currently, we have paid them $34,000. So if we pay them more money, then of course it's going to impact the percentage. So the percentage could go down, just depends on the total amount that we pay to the vendors.
Okay, I understand.
And also going back to on line item number 16, where you have RATP Dale, we have paid them almost $9.3 million. Well, this is their number. The amount that we paid them is as of April. So of course their number will continue to change. So every month these numbers are constantly changing. So our percentage is going to constantly change as we pay more monies out.
I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any additional questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 7, which is discussion and action. As far as I know, there are no action items, but if that has changed either from staff or if there's anybody on the committee who has anything to discuss, please let us know.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I have one. Hey, Leroy, you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, good morning. Hey, so I know before John left, he was checking into the utilization of the hydrogen buses. Has there been any update on that or any follow through?
You said on the utilization of the hydrogen?
Yeah, trying to secure the hydrogen buses for a, I guess, a trial period. He was looking into doing it.
I know we had a meeting with one company said, and Michelle, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, where we were looking to see if we may get a grant that could be utilized for hydrogen bus and electric, but I don't think we've gotten a response on that.
Correct, Leroy. We have applied for both the vehicles, 2 hydrogen and 2 electric vehicles, and all associated infrastructure. So that would be great if we got that grant. It would give us a good leg up for future bus purchases as well.
Beyond the grant, is there any other means of securing one, say for
yeah, I think you're kind of breaking up.
You know, a temporary period, kind of on a trial basis?
Mr. Lawson, can you repeat that? I think you froze a couple of times.
Yeah.
You can't hear you. You're broken up.
Mr.
Well,
Lawson.
I know why Mr. Lawson is checking his phone. I know that we were talking about using electric buses on a trial basis. And we were going to check to see whether we can get those free for a certain period of time. That was the piece that Mr. Andor was going to check into.
I probably just hadn't had a chance to get to that point to follow up on that. That's something I can try to do before the next meeting.
Okay, look into that because we were comparing the electric buses expenses to the hydrogen buses expenses.
Okay. I can, and I'll go back through the emails and see if I can pick up maybe where we left off to see if we can get an electric bus for a trial period.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other matters? Item number 8 is legal contractual personnel, and there's nothing there for the committee to deal with. So given that, it looks like maybe Mr. Lawson has dropped off, but I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that. All right. Thank you all. Good, quick meeting. Just, I guess, see everybody in a couple weeks and then look for resolution of those items at the next Finance Committee meeting.
Goodbye.
Hey, hey, Andy,
Yes.
when do you think that we might start meeting in person? Do you have an idea or any time frame?
Yeah, I'll defer to staff on, I mean, I think this entire time in-person has been an option for the committee and for the board. I don't know that we've, but what we could go, you know, I can certainly get with Mr. Huggins and Mr. DeChamps and see if moving to fully in person is on the horizon.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, that probably would be a good question to be put on the agenda in 2 weeks for the board.
All right. So, Mr. DeChamps, can you make sure that that's, you know, confer with Derek and figure out the best way to get that as a discussion item on the board agenda?
Okay, we will.
Yeah, Mr.
Right.
Lawson's back.
Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have service upstairs, but I'm back.
That's all right. I think we're technically adjourned. We were just having, there was a couple of kind of housekeeping items we were dealing with. So
Okay, no problem.
if there is nothing else, everybody has a good week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
have a good evening.